Well, hi folks, you're all very welcome to 3 Minute Tales. I'm your host, Shanakey. Now, we'll be bringing you stories from all over the world, but today's story is from France. It's a heartbreaking story about a beautiful little dog and its incredibly loyal owner. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to leave a message or a comment, you can do so down below. And if you haven't already, hit that little subscribe button. Please do so today, because the more subscribers this channel has, the wider our audience and the more people get to listen to these beautiful, heartwarming stories. It makes sense. So until the next time, thank you so much. I'm Shanakey. In November 2012, 4 days before he was due to move from his home in Toulouse in France, 72-year-old Pierre Lambert was walking his dog in his local municipal park. As a sudden thunderstorm unfolded, Pierre and his 4-year-old golden retriever Lionel searched for shelter from the rain. However, before they could find cover, the dog was startled by a loud clap of thunder and ran away aimlessly. Pierre called after the dog and searched for over an hour for the animal without any success. He eventually walked home, hoping that perhaps the dog had made his own way back to the house, but Lionel was nowhere to be seen. Aided by a couple of elderly friends, Pierre spent the next 2 days searching the surrounding areas for Lionel, but alas, their endeavours were in vain. Pierre was due to move from Toulouse to Bordeaux, over 250 kilometres away, to be closer to his son Antoine, and he had to make the heartbreaking decision to relocate without finding his beloved pet. Devastated, he moved into his new apartment but kept in contact with his old neighbours and friends in Toulouse in the hope that Lionel might somehow show up. As the weeks went by and with still no sign of the dog, Pierre resigned himself to the fact that he would probably never see Lionel again. Pierre considered buying a new dog, but after a lot of deliberation, he eventually decided not to replace him. He felt that it would be somewhat of a betrayal to his loyal companion, who had been a huge source of comfort to him following the death of his wife 2 years earlier. As the weeks turned into months, Pierre settled into his new life in Bordeaux, and in the spring of the following year, his son called to say that a friend of his had recently taken in a stray dog. It too was a golden retriever, and although malnourished and somewhat neglected, the dog had a very placid temperament, and Anton suggested to his father that it might make a good pet for him. Reluctantly, Pierre agreed to accompany his son to his friend's house to see the dog. When the two men reached the door to Antoine's friend's house, they could hear the dog barking frantically from inside. When the man opened the door, the dog ran straight to Pierre and greeted him with yelps of joy. Pierre stood and stared at the dog in shock. Even though the dog was somewhat emaciated, Pierre was convinced that the dog was Lionel. Antoine and his friend laughed at Pierre and told him not to be so silly. How could it be Lionel? Pierre's dog had been missing for over 5 months. Toulouse was 250 kilometres away, and Lionel had only travelled to Bordeaux twice before, and that had been by train with Pierre. The next day, accompanied by Antoine, Pierre brought the stray dog to a veterinary clinic. After a complete medical examination and a microchip scan, the vet confirmed that the dog was indeed Lionel. Remarkably, Lionel had somehow found his way from Toulouse to Bordeaux, and with chances of surely millions to one, had found himself rescued by a friend of his original owner. To this day, Pierre still lives in Bordeaux with his loyal companion Lionel.